Hello and welcome to SilkPod reviewing Age of Attraction episode 1. I know from watching other channels that comments are filled with if you like Love is Blind, if you like all the Netflix dating shows, you gotta watch Age of Attraction. The reason why I'm late to the game is because I'm not a fan of the concept of this. I think it's super weird. Like a lot weirder than Love is Blind, a lot weirder than freaking Too Hot to Handle. I think this is really bizarre for me. Um so I don't know how I'm going to feel going into this, but I did watch the first episode, so might as well put my thoughts out there. I do remember Pfeiffer's name though. I think it's like pronounced Pfeiffer. I don't know. I actually have no idea, even after the whole episode. Because I'm like, what is that name? Why is it spelled like that? Anyways, so I'm watching the show. I'm watching passively. We see a bunch of short interviews with different men and women. As they get off a jet and whatever. They talk about how age is just a number. Blah blah blah. That's not the point. I get that's what the show is going for, but I just don't buy into that. I just feel it's just super weird. And yeah, clearly I didn't look up anything about this show because as soon as Nick Vile was there hosting, I'm like, what? But I guess he was on reality TV show, right? And that's how he became popular. Now he's doing his little show interviewing other people on reality TV. I didn't know he was hosting. So that's on me. And at first I was like, oh, the girl looks familiar too, and then I realized it's his girlfriend. Stupid. Um my first impression is that Nick Vile really sucks as a host. I think he's really trying to put on that Nick Lachey Love is Blind vibe and failing at it. Because he just doesn't have that charisma. Not that I'm saying Nick Lachey does, but like, I don't know. I think, first impression, I'm like, I don't really want him as a host, but it is what it is. Um, it is giving a weird Love is Blind vibe because it's like they present the question, does age matter when it comes to love? And I'm like, this is stupid. This is more stupid than the question of is love blind? No, no, no. No for the Love is Blind question. And for does age matter question, the answer is yes, age is important to know in a relationship. Like, what? And Nick and his girlfriend, of course, they talk about, and I didn't know this because I don't really care about them, that they have an 18-year-old age gap and they have this fear of like, or self consciousness about other opinions on the outside regarding their age gap. And I feel for them. My grandparents on my mother's side, they have like a 20-year gap and whatever. So I understand that relationships can work with certain age gaps, but that doesn't mean it doesn't come with its challenges. And I don't agree with the sentiment age is just a number. Like it's important. It's about different life experiences. Um I don't like this. I'm just really uncomfortable with it because I could just imagine like a 20-year-old dating like a 50-year-old and I'll just be like, what the fuck? I really hope that's not going to happen, but I feel like it's going to, and that's just going to drive me nuts. Like honestly, that kind of age gap, it's just I can't. Um, and obviously, I was very clueless about the show because as soon as they said you can't ask how old the person you're talking to is, I was like, what the fuck? I get now that that's the point of the show, but I think that's so stupid. And then the whole concept about the couples going into this promise room, and then if they wanna like be a couple or whatever, and then they exchange these promise rings, which are so stupid, and then they reveal the age, and then they decide if they wanna be single or continue the experience in the real world. And then this whole thing, the rest is all Love is Blind esque with like you introduce each other's friends and family, before deciding if they will be single or continue to stay together. Thank goodness it does not end in marriage. Thank goodness, because mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Some of I can't. I'm so sorry. I'm just not that excited. Yet. I say yeah because I have some hopes that maybe I'll get more invested in these couples, but I'm just so grossed out with the concept. Um, oh, not gonna not lie. I didn't track names for like most of the episode, maybe more than the first half of the episode. So all I did was scribble a bunch of things like this girl and this guy and whatever. And then towards the end of my notes, I started to catch up with who's who and what their names are. Especially for the main-ish couples. I'm sure that there's gonna be more in the later episodes. What I wrote, I scribbled that Charles and Leah look about the same age. Chloe talks to another guy. At first, it looks like they're talking to people with that looks appearance wise around the same age, which makes sense to me. I think that happens naturally, even though looks can be really deceptive. Some people can look much younger or older than they really are. But for the most part, you could kind of tell. Um, but we're just gonna have to see. Maybe we're gonna have a shocker experiences later where it's like, oh, I thought he was much older or younger, and vice versa. Um, we go to Libby, and Libby talks to all these guys, right? And she says she wants older and mature guys. And like I get that. I get that. You know, if you're a younger girl, sometimes cuz when I was a younger girl, I had a crush on my science teacher. So I get this whole like, "Oh, I I feel like the guys are my age are immature and stuff." But like my only thing with those kind of mindset, I really hope Libby is not in her 20s. Fingers crossed. But I do feel like when you're a lot younger and like pursuing men that are much older than you because you think they're more mature, eh, there's much to be desired there, Libby. My only note here was that I just don't be groomed. Just don't be groomed. Because something about Libby gives you 20s, and I don't like that. I don't like that. 20s is way too young. But we're just gonna have to see what happens moving forward. Because later on she talks to other guys, and all they talk about is Taylor Swift. Yeah, nah. Like who's gonna? I just because when there's an age gap, there's also like it's harder to have like even surface level conversations. Like what are you gonna talk about? Like it's so hard. I'm just not feeling it. What else we got here? I wrote down this guy named Tristan says. Oh, I wrote this down because it's so gross. He says he can date the girl and he could date the mom, and I'm like, what the. Oh god. He says that he's into much older woman. And I wrote down you do you, I guess. He does talk to a much older lady later. I guess her name is Erin or something. He says she's beautiful and she looks around his mom's age, which is disgusting. I don't know. I can't. I have a boyfriend, so I don't even need to think about this right now, but like I could never date someone that's my mom's age. Like that's gross. I think. I don't understand some people. I don't understand this show, but maybe I'm way too judgmental to be watching this. Because we skip to Andrew. He talks about how he has two daughters and what someone wants someone with more life experiences. Weird because I think he talked to someone younger than him, so I'm like, okay, dude. Um, he tells one day about how cyclical his relationships in the past were. And he wants to break bad habits. I did note down to myself, I don't support people with kids going on reality TV shows. But damn, of course, we later learned that Andrew is not the only one. There's so many people with kids, and I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm just not a fan. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I just don't like it. And I'm sorry. I really don't remember names when I first started watching the episode, so I don't have names. But I do see. I wrote down some older guy talks to this black woman. I'm so sorry. Um, he tells her that she has an emotional intelligence, even though they only talked for like 30 seconds. stupid. The guy says he was married before, and then the woman says she wants a potential husband and is definitely going outside her comfort zone. I just can't. I just can't. Hopefully I'll feel differently as the episodes go, but so far I'm just not. And then the same woman talks to other dates, and she mentions, as she says this later again, her father doesn't want her to date guys who are more than 10 years older than her, and I feel for that, right? Um that dad is gonna hate this show. Like, why would you go on a show after your dad tells you that he doesn't want you dating people? Like, at the end of the day, you date who you want to date, regardless of what your parents approve or not approve. But like, I think that's reasonable. You know? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm being weird for that. Anyways, um, what else happened? Derek and Pfeiffer, that's not how you say her name, but I'm just gonna say that. They have a date. I wrote down I'm not feeling Derek, but I don't really know why. Some guy says this girl Lauren makes it feel intimidated. We don't get much context or it's gonna move forward. Um, then this guy, oh, John, I think it's John. John talks to Teresa, who's an older lady. I mixed her up with Aaron because I mixed up all the old ladies together. I'm sorry. So so he says that people tend to call him Prince Harry or Henry. What, I forgot the name. And Teresa says it's hard to find someone online because no one puts her age range on their preferences. And I'm thinking, oh, this lady must be much older than she looks like because ooh. Um, but Prince Harry calls Teresa hot, and you like what you like. Um, we transition to nighttime. The host announced that there will be activities during the day, but it's an option. You could either do the activity or stay at the villa, and then they do a toast. Okay, whatever. I don't know. This also gives a different reality TV show. It's like a mix of different things, but not a fan. Um, We skip to heavily edited montage of people waking up the next day, blah blah blah. Um, John and Teresa talk. Um, at first I thought Teresa had two guys going for her, but I realized I am again mixing up all the old ladies together. So John and Teresa, clearly they're each other's number ones. They talk about cats and dogs and pets and whatever. That's cute, I guess. Teresa shares that she has three kids. In the interview, she doesn't disclose this to John yet, that her oldest child is 29. That's just a little bit younger than me. So I'm thinking, whoa, 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 is she in her 60s or something? Oof. Um, and then Teresa does say that there is a fear that the guy she likes is too young. I know that he is too young. Um, yeah. My thing is, don't date people around the same age or younger than your own kids. I don't know. I just find that so weird and gross. I might be way too judgmental to be watching the show. But anyways, Vanilla and Justin talk. I guess this is another strong-ish couple. Vanilla says that Justin um seems more calming. Um, Justin is a little older, much older actually. And Justin talks about he doesn't really like the hookup culture. But Vanilla kind of reassures him that she is looking for marriage. And when it comes to kids, he's either okay, whether or not the guy wants kids or not want kids, he's kind of like either way is cool with her. Very unique. Usually you go one or the other, but okay. If you're good with either, you're good with either. Justin shares on the interview that he is 44, and I'm like, I didn't want to know that yet. Maybe that's just me. Like, if you're gonna say on the show that you're not supposed to share each other's age, I kind of want it to be revealed to the audience too, what their ages were at the reveal. I didn't want to know it early because now it's like gonna be in the back of my mind that this guy's a bit old, and I assume Vanelle is like in her 30s maybe, so it might work out. Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe, but also I thought Justin was a lot older. Is that bad? Am I? I'm also bad with guessing ages, so it is what it is. Justin clearly wants kids, but he says that it might not happen. Um, Probably because of how old he is, and he does get teary eyed. But I think it's hard to say because I'm in my 30s. But I think you can still have kids in your 40s. I know I know of people who have kids much later in life, and it can happen. It can happen, Justin. Don't worry. What we have here? We skip to four girls talking. They say there's a lot of variety. Okay, that's filler. And then the first activity is rafting. Um, I wanted to be into this part of the show, but I'm just like, okay, they're having fun. Libby and Andrew seems attracted to each other. Andrew says Libby's probably younger than him. Yeah, no duh. Um, Libby and Andrew does a cheers after the rafting. And then I realized that Andrew is a young dad. And I'm thinking to myself, how many parents are in this show? And how would their kids feel that their parents went on this show? Just saying. Um, Here, Andrew asks Libby if she's a hardcore Swiftie. I guess that's the vibes he gives off. She does give off that vibe, though. She's so young. I could tell just from looking at her. But anyways, Libby tells this guy that around her age. That's what I'm saying. Guys around her age are immature. She keeps saying this, right? She tells him she never dated anyone with kids, but she likes kids. Yeah, but that's two different things. And thinks that, well, hopefully she feels that he is someone that's a great father. And it's a positive thing that he has kids. She did tell in the interview that she was surprised that Andrew has kids, but she finds that mature. And then the thing that bothered me was when she said it was a great experience for her with Andrew because she could put those reservations aside. Because I'm assuming in the real world, she would have, not really date anyone who has kids because it it's a lot, right? It's a lot, especially for young people. I really don't think you should be dating anyone with kids. Um, yeah, it's already tough on its own. Um, yeah, no, she shouldn't put her reservations aside though. She's, mm, I'm against it. Um, Andrew tells us that he feels giddy with her. But I'm not feeling these two. I don't like it. I don't like it. Especially one of them is way too. What I don't know. Maybe it's just like a gender thing too. Just something about the fact that Libby is I've something's telling me that she's in her 20s and she really should not be doing this on the show. I wrote down here Jorge or George or whatever and Vanel talk. I wrote so much stuff, but I don't remember Jorge that much. Jorge is divorced with two kids. He feels talking is easy with her. I wrote down that Jorge looks mad old. Oh, he talks about his a pastor's kid. They connect about God, and they feel like they're opposites. But Jorge says that he's looking for someone who's the complete opposite, and he doesn't want someone that's just as intense as he is, and that he wants that balance. I don't know. To each their own, I guess. They do say opposites attract, but I actually disagree with that. I think you should have both similarities and differences to kind of balance each other out. It shouldn't be complete opposites on everything, though. Um, Jorge says that he likes how no. Vanilla says that she likes how he keeps her on her toes. And that Jorge doesn't pretend to be someone else. But I'm like, how do you know that? You barely talk to him. Like even if it was heavily edited and there was a lot of scenes we missed, like no, you barely know the guy. Don't say things like that. Yeah. Spanel says that she also likes this guy named Justin. But I wrote down both guys are way too old for her. That's the vibe I'm getting, but we're just gonna have to see. Um, Justin, whatever. I wrote said Justin tells the boy he connected with now. Oh, but in the beginning I messed up and mixed up Justin and Jorge around, so I don't know. My notes could be really off by now, but it is what it is. Um, but after this, I got all the names right. John dates Teresa, the older lady. I'm sorry, should I not be saying that? Anyways, they date. Um, And this time around, I'm thinking, you know what? I can see how Teresa can attract some guys. And she's pretty. She looks to be around my mom's age, so that's why I'm kind of like, it's kind of hard for me to comment on people's beauty. Especially when there's like a lot of diversity, I guess, with the ages. Um, Teresa talks about how she's on this new next chapter now that her kids are older and she can focus on herself more. But it's just so weird. Like, what if you date someone that's around your kid's age? I just don't like that. I feel like I'm gonna say that a billion times this season, but I just don't like this. Um, they talk. John shares about his baseball injury and how it was a huge part of his identity. Yeah, that's a story I hear all the time with athletes and whatever. Teresa shares that she plays softball in her younger years, and I wrote down, I guess they vibe, but the age thing is like really still weird to me. Um, Teresa was asked about siblings, and she answers that she does have an older brother that passed away, but respectfully, she didn't want to go deeper into the story. Um, Not that she doesn't trust him, but like that's a heavy topic right off the bat, which I was okay with until they kissed, and I'm like, wait, 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 what? I had to rewind that because I was like, what just happened? Um, yeah, I don't know. Teresa says that she feels that John is a mature guy. And then there's a scene afterwards on camera where she slaps his ass a little bit, barely a slap. I'm usually okay, my heart's not feeling it though. Like, I guess based on the episodes so far, they are the strongest couple, but I'm also like, oh god. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. Let's just move on from that. I'm just like, this I don't know. This whole show is just making me uncomfortable. I'm just not into it. Um After that weird kiss, and it wasn't weird. They had chemistry, but I'm just not feeling it. Andrew and Libby talk. After that scene, it's nighttime. Um Andrew asks Libby about her last relationship, and she's like asking weird questions because he doesn't really want to answer it. And this is the red flag moment. She says her last relationship was 5 months ago. Girl, girl, don't go on a show right after. And then she says that the relationship started 10 to 12 months ago or lasted 10 to 12. Either way, it's just not good. She says the relationship ended because there was so much to fix in the guy and it was not worth sacrificing herself. And I guess that's part of why she's looking for older, more mature guys. Ugh. Um yeah, I don't know. Oh, I also noted down that maybe she's looking for fame to be on this show. That's the vibe I'm starting to get. But I don't know. Maybe she's just really naive about like, oh, if I just date an older guy, it's gonna be mature, and then I won't have these problems. Some guys never mature, so I would, Libby, just be careful, okay? Because some immature older guys pretend that they're all mature and reliable and stuff, and then once you date them, okay, I hear things, I read Reddit stories, like I worry for Libby. I worry for Libby. Watch her be around my age, and I'll be like, oh, okay. Um, all right, skipping to the girls' talk. Teresa says that she's good with John, but she does wonder what his age is. The two girls that she's sitting with said that they're a strong couple. They support it, whatever. And yeah. Oh, hi, Horsey. Then we go to this scene with this sommelier. I don't know how. Whatever. The wine people, the wine experts. So they have a whole outdoor wine tasting. Old lady Erin and Tristan talk. Um, Erin talks about how she has a 21-year-old nephew that reminds her of Tristan. What the fuck? I would no. No, no, no. And she says, I don't know if I could do bed stuff with him because he reminds me of his nephew, of her own nephew. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Um, Tristan says on camera that his mom is only 19 years older than him, so he would need to date someone that he finds more attractive than his mom. Is that what he said? I don't even want to play that back because, yeah, nah. Um, Later on, Aaron says that Tristan has a baby face and she's realizing that it doesn't really matter. And I'm like, girl, you just said he reminds you of of your own nephew. What the okay. It's just kids this show is so weird. Um and then we go to John and Teresa. They're still holding hands. They're drinking wine. John said he got really lucky. And I noted to myself, look, I believe in love. I believe in meeting your soulmate and whatever. And maybe there's people out there watching the show and shipping John and Teresa unless something goes downhill later in the season. But I just I can't. I can't. I just don't agree with the premise of the show. I'm so sorry. Then we go to Justin and Vanell. They're doing their toast with their wine. Vanell says that she's more comfortable with him over this other guy. That was her choice, I guess. We didn't really see much of the other guy. Um, Justin says that he loves slow and hard, but he did connect with her fast. Um, and then we get this like weird like thing of Justin just looking into Vanell's eyes very intensely. Okay, why am I talking like that? Vanessa says that she's a little nervous because he's looking at her like that, as if he's gonna kiss her. But then she says that she also feels giddy, like she's in high school. Um, and then they kiss, and then I'm like, what? I I don't like how fast this show is going. I get that it's reality TV, but it's like Age of Attraction. In the first episode, now I have two kisses and the second kiss is a makeout session. I don't want to see a makeout session with a super young person, a super old person. Ew. I'm sorry. I just, I think Justin seems like a cool dude. Vanell is pretty and I respect it, but like, no. Please date people around your age. Feel that way. I'm telling you the gap here, because every time I look at Justin, I'm like, he's not a bad looking guy. But he looks really old. He looks so old. Maybe it's just me. I just don't like it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I know after the kiss, this is like I'm so smitten with her, and she's probably much younger because she doesn't have gray hair. And I'm like, God, oh God. I will say that gray hair is not an indicator of age though, because I remember in high school, I had a classmate and he would like show off the fact that he had like a bajillion gray hairs. So I'm like, gray hair is not an indicator, but it can be. But I'm just saying, there's exceptions to the rule. Um, yeah. Oh, and then after that whole kiss stress, Vanell does tell Justin about the 10-year gap rule from her dad. But she says that they might still be within the 10 years. But Justin doubts that, and I highly doubt that. Yeah. Unless Vanell looks a lot younger than she actually is, um, or Justin aged really bad, but I doubt. Imagine if Justin was actually my age. Okay, no, I don't think so. I think his like, I don't even want to guess his age. I don't wanna be offensive, but he does look super old. Um, we end with the promise room, which I didn't expect in the first episode. Because even if this was the same case as Love is Blind, where it's a condensed amount of time and there was a lot of things edited out, I think it was still like not that much time passed, you know. Um and Teresa's already there crying, saying like, "Oh, so you could trust him and be vulnerable with him." I'm like, you barely know this guy. She's way too old to be confusing infatuation and love. Because that's what's happening. They're infatuated with each other. They think it's kind of cool that there's an age gap. No, 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 no. I don't like this. Mm-mm-mm. And then they talk to each other. In this promise room, super weird. Teresa says she wants a guy that's ready to be in a relationship. and she was touched with how safe she felt with him, and that usually doesn't happen. I call bullshit. Um, I do like how intensely John listens to her with the eye contact and his nodding and stuff. I love that. Wish he was older and matches her age though. Um, John says that he appreciates Teresa's vulnerability, and he shares that in the past, there were issues because he wasn't ready to make that commitment, which is a little bit of a yellow flag to me, especially since Teresa is a mom, even though her kids are older, she's still a mom. And yeah, but John says that he's at ease with where he's at right now. And I have to say, the promise ring thing is weirding me out because you don't need a ring to date. You don't need a ring to commit to a serious relationship. So I understand it's symbolic, but I always found promise rings really weird. You know, just wear a ring when you're married, like or engaged. But whatever. That I'm just being nitpicky there. Teresa's obviously very nervous to share her age, share her child's age, blah blah blah. But then we get a cut to John sharing with us that he is 27. 27. This man is younger than me. I assumed he was around my age with the way his hair. Well, let me not say it. That's mean. That's mean. But I thought he was older. He's 27. I think he's good. I guess he technically still has a baby face, but um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's where we end. Um, I don't know what I just watched. Um, but that was episode 1 of Age of Attraction. Maybe I'll do episode 2. Um, but anywho, I'll see you in whatever I record next. Bye.